Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today I am so excited to be diving into this palette. I have been looking forward to this palette, playing with this palette since it launched, since I ordered it, and it's just taken me so long because the palette arrived to me right when I was in the middle of moving out of my old house, and it's just been crazy ever since. So finally, I'm now sitting down to play with the new, or was new like a month ago, Playing in Makeup by Yolanda 777 eyeshadow palette. Now, just looking at it like this, it doesn't look super exciting, at least for me. Like the palette packaging or anything doesn't grab me. However, we're not judging a book by its cover here because look at this. Look at this. It is a gigantic green lover's dream, and I mean, I was so tempted when I first saw it, and I really enjoy Playing in Makeup by Yolanda's palettes, and I was like, you know what? We talked about it, and will I buy it? Y'all convinced me. I bought it. It is now here, and I got about half an hour before I got to get my kids up and run out the door to do some errands, and I want to put some makeup on my face, so let's play with some green eyeshadow. There's also a hot pink. I don't know if I'll play with that today, but I definitely want to put some of this green. Oh, one of these greens, any of these greens, anything I do with this palette is gonna be so much fun. But I want to put this on my face. I am super excited to say that I now have a code with Playing in Makeup by Yolanda, which I am just so very excited to say. So if you ever want to purchase from them, I always encourage you guys to wait for a sale because Playing in Makeup by Yolanda does do fantastic sales, and I don't think you can stack sales with affiliate codes. But if there is no sale and you want to purchase something, I do have a code. It is an affiliate code, so I will get a kickback, but it will give you, I think, 10 or 15% off of your order. But I just want to throw that out there because I was super excited to become an affiliate of theirs because, like I said, I've been super impressed and super pleased with every Playing in Makeup by Yolanda palette I've tried, and I'm so excited to be diving into one of her gigantic ones, especially one that's a green lover's dream. So let me scoot in closer and we can get to putting stuff on my eyes. Alright, so as I said, I have about 30 minutes and then I'm running out to do my kids' swim lessons, so let's get to cracking into this palette. Honestly, it's so large. There's so many beautiful green shades. I don't know what to go for. Honestly, everything looks so pretty. My eyes are going to this shimmer down here and then this up here. There are no names as far as I can tell with this palette. It was just a clear plastic on top, nothing on the back. But those two are definitely calling my name, so I think I'm going to go towards one of those for the lid. So to go along with that, what should we play with first? I think my biggest gripe with this palette is it's so large. I feel like it's a touch repetitive because it's like if you're looking at the mid-tone greens over here, I feel like some of these are a little repetitive. Maybe you could have taken a row or two out and not missed any. But also too, I've heard people say with large palettes like this, they like that they're a touch repetitive. So if someone buys a huge palette like this and they go through one of the palettes or one of the pans, then they have another shade that's pretty close that can replace it. So I do understand it from that point of view. It tends to not be a point of view that I think about because you guys know me, my collection, I never hit pan on an eyeshadow palette, but I do want to throw it out there. You guys made a very good point. I'm going to take this purple. I'm going to take that on the inner half and then I want to blend it out to, oh my gosh, any one of these greens really. We'll do this green and then we'll probably soften it out with one of these lighter greens here, but I want to use that pop of purple in the inner half because I'm going to have green on the lid, and I love when it can kind of pop out from whatever shimmer I use. So I'm going to take this skinny little brush and make sure I'm in focus. This is from Culture Cosmetics, CC, I forget, Easy Crease Definer. It's like a triangle type of brush, but I'm going to go into that purple shade. The one, it's like a lavender. The one lavender in the palette, so that makes it pretty easy to point it out to you guys, and we're going to stick it right in here. No idea what I'm doing. I just want to have a little pop of something interesting in the inner half since it's going to be a very heavy on the green today with this eye look. I think a pop of purple, or I should say lavender, in the inner half will be very pretty. So we're going to blend this up and out. This is blending really nice. It's got a nice amount of pigment to it, but it's still diffusing out very nicely. Nothing too harsh, very light. And yeah, I mean, first shade down. Super happy with it. I feel like it gives me what I was looking for. Do I need more depth in there? We'll see. I'm just going to catch the other side up and then we'll move on to the green out here, and then I can always come back if I want a little bit more depth for the very crease part of it. But so far, I like how that looks. Alright, now I'm going to go into, what should we go into? Let's just go into this shade right here. Why that over any of the other greens? Literally have no rhyme or reason. It's a little bit grungy. Maybe that's why my eye goes towards it, but I just want kind of a mid-tone, not too dark, not too light, because I want to use another light green to blend this out. So I want to do a mid-tone one, and then I'm going to use a darker green for the very outer crease of it. So we're going to just put this on like so. Not the best brush that I personally would prefer to use for this type of thing. This is kind of domed and dense, but I am running very, 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 very low on brushes, or on clean brushes, I should say. I just have not had any time to wash any, so this has got to do. But I'm just placing it down, not really focusing, as you can see, on blending at all, and that is a really intense, really nice green. Alright, next up I want to take the darkest green. Let's see, this is like a blue-green over here, which is nice and deep. This is a purple. I don't want to use the purple. I want to definitely keep to the green. So I think I'm just going to go over here. Let's see how dark this green, because this, when it comes to straight up green, this is the darkest green in the palette, because everything else, when it gets too dark, leans more on the blue and purple over there. So I want to do all green in the outer corner. So I'm going to pick up, the intensity. Let me tap it off once, just in case, since I do have my base all done. This isn't so much, I would say, like deep and dark green. It's definitely like a intense, vibrant type of dark green, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it doesn't have any really black or depth or deepness to it, but it's a very bold, very intense type of green. Very pretty. I could mix in a little bit of that purple shade in there if I wanted more intensity. So let's move on to the lightest green that I'm going to use out here. Let's do this shade right here. Again, no real reason. There's a couple other different light green shades I could use. I just gotta pick one. I feel like this would be an interesting palette to try to do a multiple looks with, and like not even so much to just show you guys the different, you know, looks you can get from the palette, but it's so large. I'm curious how different my eye looks I could get them to look with the palette being so large and kind of close-ish with some of the colors. I don't know if I would be like super happy if I did like 5 or 7 or 10 looks with this palette, how different they would all look, or would they all kind of look the same, because so many of these greens do kind of seem similar. But I do appreciate that with it being such a large palette, she put that hot pink in there, she has those purple tones, she has the blue, so there is some interest in here. This goes, you know, interest as in like, you know, just different type of colors. I'm not saying it's a boring palette at all, but just interest as in like, you know, there's a lot of versatility you can get from this palette because it's got so many different colors. So I appreciate that she put those different colors in there, because it definitely does help having those you know, those purple, the pinks, the blues. You got like a grayish tone in there. I do think that having those in there, you can do a lot more with this palette than if they weren't in there and it was just a green focus palette. I don't know if I would have got it if it was this large and like had nothing but green, because I just feel like a little repetitive if it had been that. So I appreciate that. And I like that the greens are like from super, you know, true type of Christmas green to more grungy. There's a touch of lime. Oh, there's also a yellow, a matte yellow shade in here. So it's got some interest in here. I am curious to continue playing around with this palette. I have no idea if I'm going to do any more looks or any more videos with this palette. That's definitely something I would love to hear your feedback on. Let me know. And if I get enough interest, if this video gets enough views and stuff like that, maybe I'll do a multiple looks, because I feel like that's going to be the best way to feature this palette again on my channel. I feel like a multiple looks video would be helpful. I'm just taking that purple, obviously, and putting it back in here. But I'm going to take a touch of, okay, just a touch of that dark purple, because I do want to put it right into my crease. A touch just on the tip, I promise you, just a touch. And then I'm just going to stick it right in here. Just because I feel like the purple looks a little out of place. So I feel like giving it a little depth in here to kind of connect it to the depth going on in the outer corner here will just kind of, I don't know, bring it around. I like that. I like the depth I got there. Just a hair. Okay, so at this point, I think we have pretty much done all of the matte work. Pretty darn happy with it. I'm taking a touch of what I used in my inner crease here on just a fluffier brush so it doesn't get too harsh. That domed brush that I use isn't what I would prefer, so I want something a little bit floofier to help with the blending, because that dome brush is like more so for lower lash line or really packing on, and I'm wanting to help diffuse. Okay, so I think this is pretty much, as I said, good for the mattes. Let's move on to the shimmers. Since I am doing my makeup halfway through the day, I have experience with her shimmers. I'm pretty happy with how they show up. I'm not going to put any glitter primer down, so we're going to see how these perform all on their own with no help. And I want to go with, this one is just calling my name. It looks so grungy and beautiful. But like I said, this is also pretty, so let's do a combination. We'll do this on the inner half and this on the outer half. All right, grabbing that first kind of grungy gold. I would call it almost like a medallion shade. Let me get closer. I feel like I'm far away from my mirror. And let's place this. It's picking up fairly easy, not crumbly at all. And I mean, that was one dip there. Here goes another dip. I like what I'm seeing. It doesn't have like the almost like iridescent sparkle that I experienced with some of the shades in her smaller 5-pan palettes, but it has a ton of color, a ton of impact, easy to put on, and I bet if I put it on a wet base it might even be a little bit more intense, or like almost more like foiled-ish. Okay, I put the lighting down a hair just because I felt like I was a little washed out. Now let's go into this shade. This shade almost looks like it could be multi-chrome or something. I don't know, it kind of looks one way, but then I touched it and it looks a little bit like a different green. I don't know, it's very pretty. I'll definitely have to try this one like by itself all over the lid one day just to see if it does have any type of shift to it. Maybe it's just like a duochrome, I don't know. You guys know I'm not good at that stuff. I like figuring out that stuff unless it's like blatantly obvious. But this shade also very easy to pick up, very soft, goes on really nice. Yeah, both of these are winners in my book. Again, there's nothing like, you know, other type of sparkle infused in it. It's nothing, well, I mean, not to say it's not sparkly. I don't want to like, you know, guide you guys wrong. It's definitely sparkly. It has sparkle to it, but the sparkle is kind of like the same color as the shade. And you know how sometimes those, you can get those shimmers that have like a different color sparkle within the pigment and the color of that shade, and it can just make it sparkle in a little bit of a different way. It gives a different effect, kind of like Kaleidos, what is it, Flower Punk. The sparkle in like the pink and all of the sparkle shades in there are just, they're a different colored sparkle, so they pop so much, and I just find that so beautiful. These, they're sparkly, they're very pretty, they're very smooth, easy to pick up, but they're kind of like the same color sparkly, so they're a little bit more, not muted, because they're definitely, I think, very intense and beautiful, but they're not like that, you know, like Kaleidos sparkles, or trying to think of another brand that I've tried recently that has that type of just extra sparkle to it. Like I was saying, Playing in Makeup by Yolanda, her 5-pan palettes, I feel like a lot of those have just that special amount of sparkle to them. Adept has a lot of sparkle in their shadows, but these, I mean, not to say that they're not pretty at all. These are definitely pretty. They are very easy to use. They are very easy to pick up with a brush. They go on beautifully without any help. And I'm sure maybe they would look even more foiled-ish or metallic-ish if I did have a tacky base. But as they are, this is beautiful. So let's wrap up with my lower lashes. I'm just going to take that darkest green that we used and pop it right in here. And then I'll probably just use a green. I don't want to go too crazy. Scare our swim teacher. She's new this summer, so yeah, this will be a look that I'll wear for her. But don't want to go too crazy. I could go with like the purple or the hot pink, but we'll keep it to just the green. That way it kind of all goes together. I got a little bit of fallout here, maybe a touch here. I don't even know if that was the dark shade or any of the shimmers, but it dusted right off. Super happy with that. Let's take this brush that was domed. I'm going to clean it off and use that lightest shade. I think it was this shade that I used to blend out here. We're going to do that in here and just give it a good dusting all underneath here to wrap it back around. And I am going to very quickly put on some wing liner off camera and mascara. But like I said, I'll do both of those off camera just to save some time. I'm going to switch to the fluffier brush for the outer corner because I just feel like it goes faster than that dome brush and gives more of that effortless look that I'm going for when it comes to my outer corner. Yeah, I'm super happy with everything I'm seeing here. No issues blending or anything. And I mean, pigment is there. Not that I was expecting anything less. So now let's go ahead and what should we use for the inner corner before I break to put on wing liner? I feel like this would be a good one, but it would really go with the purple in the inner corner, so I kind of want to do something a little different. I can't decide. Oh my goodness, let's just go with this one. That one up there. Again, no rhyme or reason. It's just pretty and we're gonna use it. I feel like this is the most, not haphazard, but like kind of thrown together look that I've done in a while. Like I feel like usually when I'm sitting down to do a look, I really plan it, but maybe, I mean, that could be the pro of a palette like this that's so cohesive with the color story. It's like it doesn't matter what you throw together, it's gonna turn out good, because there's just, I mean, there's so many greens, and then the colors that are different than green go very well and seamlessly with the green. Like that purple I feel like looks so pretty along with the green. That went on super easy. A nice little pop. I wouldn't mind one of these being more like a blinding type of almost white shimmer for just kind of that. I'm very boring with my inner corner usually, so I tend to just like something like a blinding highlight on my inner corner, and there isn't any, let me make sure I bring y'all in frame, but there isn't really any that are like blinding white. They're all different colors, but not that that's a bad thing, just an observation. So at this point, let me go ahead and do my wing liner and my mascara, and then we can close out with my final thoughts, and I can show you guys up close of the final look. Alright, so this is how the look turned out. For lipstick, I just threw on this Odin's Eye in light peach, and then I topped it with, I don't know where it went, even though I literally just put it on my lips, but it is ColourPop's, oh here it is, lip oil in this shade Skinny Dip on top of it. And then what else? Yeah, that's about all. I just put on mascara, did some wing liner, and put black on my waterline. But yeah, I'll throw up close up so you guys can see nice and up close how the look turned out. Overall, I am super pleased with the end results of this makeup look. I feel like it's really pretty. It was super easy and quick to get this blended out and looking the way I wanted it to. I feel like everything looks nice and blended. I'm glad I went with the purple in the inner corners, just a pop of something different, and then the inner corner, or I should say inner corner crease, but then the inner corner highlight I feel like is also fun because it's a different type of green. Everything shows up really beautifully. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how the shimmers look. I'm really pleased with how the mattes look, and those are my first impressions. I feel like it's just such a tiny drop when it comes to first impressions because this palette is so large, but I'm looking forward to continuing to play around with it and see what I can create. But I'm super pleased with the quality of the mattes and the shimmers that I tried, and can't wait to continue creating looks out of it. As I said, please let me know if you'd liked more looks. I don't know, multiple looks tend to be a little bit difficult for me to do, but if I get a lot of response, like I said, if this video does well in views and stuff like that, and I see that there's interest, I can try to get some looks done with this palette and just see how creative I could get. I don't think I've ever done a 10 looks, one palette type of video like Annette does. She used to do, she still does them on occasion, but if a palette really sparks her fancy and she wants to do 10 looks, she'll do 10 looks. And I was always like, wow, 10 looks to record and edit and put together is a lot, but with this big palette, I feel like I could definitely easily get 10 looks. Whether they would look very different from each other, I feel like would be a challenge, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. As always, I'm over on Instagram on LadyKaty92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye pictures, all that sort of thing. I gotta go wake my kids up and take them into swim lessons, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.